Good morning, Brock Nation. Bobby Gordon, Jaden Winfrey with you from Eagle Stadium. We are joined by the head football coach of your Brock Eagles, Coach Billy Mathis. Coach, congrats, first of all, on another great year last year. In 3 years, one short of the maximum. That's a lot of ball games. What does a coach and his staff do in the off season to recharge?
Well, being that close each and every year, we take a good week or two of mourning, do some crying, then we reflect, right, on really what a great season that we've had, in the last 3 seasons that we've had, and how blessed we've been here. But, for us, we just roll into the next season because we're all powerlifting coaches, we're track coaches, we're baseball coaches, golf coaches. We that's what we do in the spring. Anyway, our relaxing is going and doing our next sport. And, the track team, baseball team goes all the way to state championship. The track team was 4 points shy of winning another state championship, So, for us, that's what we do. We don't take much time off, but our recharging is these young men. Watching the seniors that leave, that you spent so much time with, and all of a sudden you got a whole new group of guys, a whole new group of seniors there, and just working with them every day through all season, through all the practices that we do. And then we go into summer, and it's 7-on-7, and, summer workouts every morning, starting at 7 in the morning, and roll on. So our recharging is just getting closer with these boys, and becoming closer with us as a staff. And, we go on a couple little vacations during the summer and get back out here and do what we do.
It's exciting times. On to 4A football, 4A Division II. Talk about our new district, new stadiums, new road trips. It's all new.
It is all new, and it's exciting, and there's that unknown, and there's always that fear of unknown, and there's a great thing about fear, right? Fear makes you stay at that heightened alert. You think about your memories, and I heard this years ago, why you can't remember everything, but you can remember the stuff that was like traumatic, right? The times you got scared when bad things happen or when great things happen. It brings a sense of urgency to what you do, and a sense of fear, man, going into 4A of the unknown. We know, 4A football, it's bigger football. We played a lot of great teams in 3A. I think overall there's going to be a lot more tough competition in 4A. So, our district's loaded and packed. Graham's picked to win it all, which, rightfully so, they should be picked to win it all. They've got everybody coming back. Got a great historical program up there. So, Mineral Wells is going to be good. The New Eagle Mountain Saginaw School, I know they're going to be loaded with talent. And then you got Burke Burnett and Bridgeport, which are 2 great teams. So, I like our guys, and I got a lot of confidence we're going to go in there and go win a district championship. But it's not just going to happen. We got to go in there. We got to take care of business. We got to go in there and take one game at a time. So, once you go through our district and you get into the playoffs, we'll play somebody like Godley, possibly Benbrook, Dunbar, somebody from the other district, then we'll head out west. And, Region 3 right now, through Region 1, Glen Rose the favorite, right? Glen Rose a couple years ago was a player or two from beating Carthage and going to a state championship, and they were the same way last year. I think Gilmer's the one that ended up beating them. So Glen Rose is the big dog in Region 1, and then Graham, and the rest of it are fighting it out. So, I like our chances. I like what our guys do every day to give us that chance to go have a chance to win a district championship and hopefully go on and win a region championship.
Now on to this group we just saw behind us earlier. You graduated a lot. But what people don't realize from the outside looking in, a lot of underclassmen played valuable minutes in a 15-game season last year. You've got a lot coming back.
We got a lot coming back, and we did. We had a senior-heavy group that had most of them had been starters for 2 years. But we were lucky enough to play, 15 games this past year, and games where a lot of the guys who weren't starters, but they played as much as the starters did. You go back and count plays, you count quarters and minutes that they played just as much. They might have not started the game, but they played just as much. And, this group's hungry. They're excited. They're, right now, just because they didn't have a whole lot that started as juniors, besides like Brody and Jesse and those guys. But this group is as talented as any group that we've had come through here. But what makes this group different, there's just not a lot of big preseason names. as we've had in the past, which is great, which is fine, and that lets them play with a chip on their shoulder, and they're excited about that. They're excited to go make a name for themselves in the state of Texas, and we got a great group of seniors, and we got a great group below them, so I expect every one of them to go out there and not only dominate, but to go and make a name for themselves and, leave that legacy of what it means to be a Brock Eagle football player. And the number one thing that we want to leave when we leave every stadium, when we leave every place that we go to, we want the opposing team to say, we don't ever want to play them again. Those are the hardest hitting, toughest dudes we've ever played against.
The personality of this team seems like a blue-collar group. Bring your lunch pail to work every day, just a hard-working group.
They are a hard-working group, and we've always got hard-working groups. But this group, you're right, they're different. They're different. And, you get out there at practice this week, you got varsity starters who are running scout team every day, right? And, they're doing a great job of leading and showing what it means to be a senior leader, right? A lot of times, seniors get to this point in time of the year, and it's just natural. Like, man, I've paid my dues. I've done it all. I'm a senior. I don't need to go in there and run scout team very much. But this group, man, they are in there every play. And the reason they're in there every play is because they want every rep, right? And, our motto this year is ring the bell, right? We have ring the bell. But, our offensive and defensive guys have, different mottos. And Coach Christian and offensive guys and really with the whole team is, everything matters, right? And it's those little things, keeping your locker clean, taking care of the work down there at the school, being a great teammate, running scout team like you're fighting for a position because you are. And, that's what we tell these guys all the time. Just because you're running scout team and you may not be the starter right now, when we watch that film, we're watching the guys on scout team, the type of looks and stuff that you get, And a perfect example, right? Waylon, whenever he was, running scout team, he ended up getting to play a little bit, right? And that's a good thing. And, I'll say as a brag on your boy too, Logan, man. He gets out there every day. And I've moved him to linebacker over there on defense because he's not scared of anything. And he takes every rep of getting better, right? He gets over there, goes to quarterback. Waylon goes over there and goes to guard. And that's the way our guys are going. And that's what they believing in each other, and they're having each other's back, and they're saying, you know what? We're going to be the best team that's ever come through Brock. And when they say team, I mean talking about teams. Everybody having each other's back, everybody pulling the rope in the same direction, rowing the boat, all the metaphors, all the stuff that you can say. That's what these guys are about, and it's really exciting.
Speaking of quarterback, your field general's back this week, back this year
Yep.
with Brody. Talk about him and what he means as a leader.
Brody's he's a special kid, as most quarterbacks are, right? You rarely ever you get a quarterback that's not just a natural-born leader. Brody is not a rah-rah, scream and holler quarterback. He is a cool, calm, and collected quarterback all the time, right? He's the complete opposite of his dad, right? Our O-line coach. Brody leads by example. Brody's the guy that if somebody makes a mistake, he does a great job of building them up. Hey, you need to do this, or hey, you should have done this. Great job there, but you need to do this, right? He's that type of motivator. The guys love him. The guys know when the ball's in his hands, something good's going to happen, and they're excited about it. But he just does such a wonderful job of making everybody feel like they are the most important person on that offense. And he's over there playing defense. He's going to play more defense this year, right? And it scares the bejesus out of me. Sure. But he's like, Coach, come on, man. And he's a stud safety. There's no doubt. And we got to have him over there. So he's going to be playing a little bit more on both sides of the ball, which is great. So I'm excited about it. But as a young man, he's your All-American, right? Great grades, take care of everybody, great in the locker room, man. Just if you had a daughter, you want your daughter to date him.
So minus Brody, I mean, we lost Carson Finney. You're losing Hunter Fay. You're losing Brock. Talk to us about some of your linebacker quarter. You don't have Cooper at middle anymore. Talk about some of your new senior leadership, junior leadership. Some of the guys that are stepping in and filling those.
Over there on the defensive side, you're right. We lost a lot. Losing Cooper and those guys and Cam, and you lose Hunter and Brock down there at defensive tackles. I mean, those two dudes were two big presents. Cooper's over 200 tackles, and Cam and those guys, I tell you another thing. It's just kind of those guys, man, go and make all-state baseball too. There ain't very many people ever at any school anywhere are all-state football, all-state baseball, and do the things they did. I mean, those are some big shoes to fill.
Sure.
They are. And, you know, Asa and Tyler Kirk and Toller Kearley and those guys, that's going to be our starting group out there of linebackers. But you guys got guys like Jacob Veselka and Trent Culberson and those guys that are going to step up, and we got a crew of linebackers there that are really good. And just like we were talking about earlier, they got a lot of playing time last year, and they are going to be just as dominant.
And that's your group this year.
That's my group. I'm coaching linebackers, so they're going to be amazing. You know, and you got Matlock back. You know, and Matlock's a big time player. I mean, everything that dude does is special, right? I mean, everybody knows who Matlock is, but he's the same way. He's very humble. He's not out there beating his chest, you know, and he's the same way. I pulled him out of scrimmage. I was like, hey, man, we've seen enough of you. I want to see some of these other guys. And he gets mad. He's like, Coach, I want to go in there and play. I want to go get it, you know. So I get it, but, you know, got a good crew back at O-line with Adam and Ethan coming back on the O-line. You know, Walker Hughes is taking over at center. And, you know, that's a tough position because you're touching the ball every play, right? And there's a lot that goes on you as a center. You're calling out the front. You're talking about blocking schemes and all that. So he's done a fine job, and he really an excellent job. He got time last year also as a backup. You know, so he got a lot of time last year. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. You know, Cody's back at tailback. So you know, we got Cole Stanley and Dash Lindsay who are all going to be back there. We got a stable of dudes back there that are going to get after.
They're hard to catch.
They're hard to catch. And you watch Cody out here today. I mean, that dude can flat out run. He's not very big, but he is. He's like a stick of dynamite. So, you know, getting those guys and, you know, and having our receiving core that we have, we got a bunch of dudes over there at receivers. You know, Colton Jesse are, of course, the biggest names that we have over there. But, you know, you got Caden Hicks back coming off an ACL surgery. You saw him make some great catches out there today. He'll be full tilt here in a couple weeks. So we got a new kid, Charles Hibbler, who's going to be a big-time player for us. Got Bo Leach. Well, we got a ton of dudes over there on the receiving side. But those same guys, you know, Wade Daugherty and Hunter Martin and all those guys, they're all playing defense too, right? Mm-hmm. So I think we got 40 guys right now on the varsity football team. The most ever the Brock's ever had, 40 guys. And, man, you want to talk about a bunch of dudes. For us as coaches, there's a lot of mouths to feed over there on offense and a lot of dudes. But at the same time, it's good because we ought to have guys just rolling in. And what makes it so special, not one guy's over there pouting when he's not in. Well, you know, I should be the guy over there. Not one guy. Man, they're cheering the dude on, knowing, hey, I might not be getting the ball, but I'm going to go out here and run a great route. I'm going to go block and do my job. You know, same way on defense. It's a good thing when you got everybody pulling for each other because we can keep everybody fresh. And then, you know, when you got everybody fresh, dude, you're a better football team. So I'm excited about everything that we have going. And I'll tell you, you know, one last kid that I'll, or two, I guess, that, you know, I think about, I just saw him right there. You know, it's going to be a big-time emphasis. You know, Davin Maga. Everybody asks, they walk out there like, who is that kid? Right, Davin's a force. Davin's had an unbelievable spring and summer, and he was a good football player last year. Had those two big hosses in front of him, so, you know, he's going to be a big name. And then, you know, you got my son, Slade Mathis, he's a Mathis. He ought to be the baddest dude out there, right?
He better be.
He better be. That's a fact. But, you know, got Isaac Horton in the group back. We got a ton of guys. I know I always forget a couple guys, but I ain't forgetting them. I love them. I'm proud of them. But I'm just so excited about this season. It's a season of new, right, going into 4A. Got a lot of new guys starting. You know, coaching staff's basically the same. You know, we got Coach Stocking. He's here. You know, he's also our head wrestling coach. Got Coach Keith Wood back, so he's coaching O-line again. So, you know, we got a great group of coaches. So I'm just really pumped up about this whole deal, right? So, boys have been great. Coaches are great, you know. About to kick school off again. In the mornings, you hear the band over there jamming and practicing. it's just one of those things. If we had some fresh cut grass,
the
smell.
Have a little smell.
Yeah, man, we don't really get fresh cut grass anymore. We got turf out there.
Well, you wouldn't have it anyways, as hot as it is.
As hot as it is, it's a fact. That's true.
So
But
ask about
really
the everybody asking, what does ring the bell mean? What's our motto? Where does that come from?
you know, there's a lot of things that, for me, ring the bell. And every year we come up with a motto and stuff, right? I always get with the boys, and man, we'll talk some stuff over, and what do y'all think about this? What do you think about that? But you just don't want to go out and just do something that doesn't fit the group, right? It doesn't fit who this group is, and for this group, because there are so many, I keep saying new guys, but so many guys that are starters, right? And you think about, when you're going into a battle, you're going into a fight, you're going into a boxing match, UFC, whatever, starting a school, starting and everything, man, there's always a bell that starts that sucker off, right? And with these guys, man, this is your year to start it off. This is your year to go make the name for yourself. This is your year to let your legacy be made, and ring that bell. And, talk about finishing every day. Ring that victory bell. And as wild as it is, I didn't know it was going to happen, that the Olympics are going to have that victory bell out there that they can ring.
Yep.
And you think about that stuff, and, you think about all the good that comes from it. I think about, my mother-in-law and all them, when they, beat cancer and they go in for their last bit of chemo and all that, their last treatment stuff, man, they ring that bell, and, their victory's there. And, there's a, not silly, but kind of silly as it is, there's a poem out there by Longfellow. It's talking about Christmas and Christ, and it's talking about, ringing that bell, and God's not dead, God's alive. And, I don't know why I read it years ago, but that, he peeled the bells and all that stuff. That part of, that's just part of it, a part of our Christian faith that, hey, man, God's alive, God's real. We're here because this is where he wants us. And for me as the coach, I know it's my calling to be here and to be with this town and to be with this group of boys. And, I take that seriously, and so do my coaches. And one of these days, you're going to stand before your maker and say, what did you do with the gifts that I gave you? Did you go do what you did? And I'm going to be able to say yes. I'm going to be begging for a lot of forgiveness, too.